once again to discuss things.
2, 3. Alright, fuck you guys, bye. So, yeah.
Alright, anyways, with me.
Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentleman Horror Month. Spooky, scary skeletons. On this episode of Geeky Gentleman, I'm joined by Mr. Eaxabistivs
Hell yeah.
and Deadpoolzilla. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Indeed.
It's Halloween, bitches!
Yeah, definitely.
Things are scary. I love scary.
You do? Why don't you marry her then?
Because she keeps saying no.
True fact, today I ran into a person at Spencer's whose name was, like, close to scary, and her favorite thing is that she goes to get tattoos if only to feel pain, and she loves listening to Jackson 5. It was the weirdest shit.
See, there's actually a philosopher I really like whose name is Lane Scary, so I mean, this is all possible.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week we are back for our character profile videos, and we're talking about characters Deadpoolzilla picked, because Deadpoolzilla will just message me and be like, Ian, we need to discuss these characters. I'm like,
Okay, dude, shut up, because I posted all those just so because I knew I'd forget them. So if we ever did those other characters, I just go back to that list and go, oh, okay.
Yeah. So sure.
Fuck you.
So anyway, Deadpoolzilla picked this character, and this is one of my favorite characters in horror, Freddy Kruger. Bitch! I'm not sure how much of Freddy Krueger being my favorite character of, like, the 80s horror villain has to do with just the fact that he curses profusely.
And they're just like the weirdest injections of cursing ever, and I love it.
Yeah.
Prime time, bitch? What does that even mean?
Prime time, bitch!
No, it's fuck the prime time, bitch!
No, I'm pretty sure it's welcome to prime time. I'm reasonably sure about that, but I could be wrong.
Even in the remake, he's got annoyingly hilarious one-liners where the girl's like, fuck you, and he's like, that sounds fun.
Yep. Okay, so Freddy Krueger has, I feel, the most interesting gimmick, arguably of any horror character, but easily of all the 70s, 80s, and 90s major horror villains. Like, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Pinhead. All of them pale in comparison to Freddy kills you in your fucking dreams.
Here's the thing, what I think why Freddy appeals to a lot of people is because he actually talks. Like, there's a sense of humor there. Whereas, like, Freddy, Jason, Michael, Leatherface, they all just kind of come at you. Whereas Freddy, he likes to mock you while he's killing you.
Yeah, which makes him more human than the other ones, I think. I'm of the opinion that Dracula is a scarier, on some level, monster than a werewolf, because a werewolf is, like, bestial and everything, but Dracula is more like a person, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think that when you make your villain more human, it makes them scarier, because even though he's, like, attacking you in your dreams via some supernatural bullshit, it creates this really unsettling side of things where it's like, on some level, you understand that he is a thinking thing. And it's just creepy and scary, and makes Freddy Krueger a really interesting character to me. Now I think I'm the weird one here, probably. My favorite Freddy Krueger is specifically the one from Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
I'd be with you there.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really like New Nightmare. I think it's the best of the Nightmare movies.
I do too. Thank you. I've got a friend here.
Yeah.
I don't hate New Nightmare. It's just I like the premise and the story behind it of Freddy being this like very much like kind of like the Corinthian from Sandman.
No, not at all like the Corinthian from Sandman.
Well, that was
Not
the closest.
No, not on any conceptual level as the Corinthian from Sandman. Anything like Freddy Krueger from New Nightmare, other than he's just a sentient nightmare. No, I disagree with that completely.
Shot down hard.
You just slap down any and all different opinions, don't you? You slap it down like a bag of dildos.
Yeah. I slap that down like a bag of dicks without a handle.
I will say, though, about New Nightmare, just to mitigate it a bit, New Nightmare's my favorite Nightmare movie, but Scream is a better version of it, so...
Oof. I don't know how I feel about that, because...
Which is fine, because we're not talking Scream yet, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but I really like the reason behind Freddy's existence there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing to me that makes it so fascinating, is it deals with the power of storytelling and dresses it up as a supernatural force that must exist. You must tell stories in order to live, and often those stories have to take the form of something horrific, something to scare and shock you and intrude upon you, in order to have the impact that a story needs to on you. And so I like that background.
Especially retroactively, because I think it's Dream Warriors, it might be Dream Master, probably Dream Warriors, where we find out Freddy's backstory is like a nurse gets put in a room with 100 mentally ill people and they all rape her, and Freddy's the child of like 100 psychos or something like that.
Yeah, no, the line is, Freddy Krueger is the bastard child of 1,000 madmen.
Yeah, something like that. So I hate
that was
that.
Dream Warriors.
That's Dream Warriors. Okay. I knew it was the third one. I just can't remember what name this. I always reverse to that in 4. But yeah, I hate that. I think that's like the worst thing ever. So retroactively making it more about the meta fiction than just like the ableist annoying stuff makes me happy.
Fair enough. I only really like that line. Like, I love the wording of that line.
Sure.
And I use it in reference to philosophy. I say Freddy Krueger, or philosophy is Freddy Krueger, the nightmarish bastard child of 1,000 madmen. Thank you.
I like that. I like that better than literal context of propagating the fear of mentally ill people.
No, definitely. Fair enough. I don't care for his initial origin that he gets. Like, I don't even really care for the whole pedophile thing.
Yeah, it's a little... They try to make that work so hard, and I'm always a little mixed on it.
Like, you need some kind of reason that he exists in those movies, but I so prefer just, oh yeah, he exists. It's like, oh yeah, those are just the movies. Now, because the character became so popular due to those movies, he has transitioned to the real world.
Yeah.
I really, really like the take in New Nightmare. Because, like, there are things about all of those movies that I really like, most of them being Freddy Krueger, to differing degrees. But it's not like I really like any of the backgrounds that they give either to Freddy or to any of the characters individually in those movies, to a large extent. And so to just completely warp that and reverse it and everything for New Nightmare is really awesome to me. Deadpoolzilla, which version of Freddy, which movie do you go to?
My go-to Freddy is kind of a toss-up between Dream Warriors and Dream Master. I don't hate Dream Master as a lot of people do. Dream Child and Freddy's Dead can go fuck themselves, but
Freddy's Dead is so bad.
It's like got one of my favorite kills in there of just how ridiculous it is. And you probably know which one I'm talking about. But no, my favorite Freddy is very much like the jokey. He's mocking you while he's killing you. He's giving you this beautiful dream you wanted. It slowly turns the nightmare. Because Freddy knows you can't really kill him on his home turf. So I like it when he's like cracking jokes at your horrible bloody expense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
That's totally the appeal that I think he has big time, and it's really interesting, again, just on a concept level, for a monster that kills you in your nightmares. And I don't know, there's so much imagery associated with Freddy Krueger that's like really bizarrely iconic. Like, even from the first Nightmare movie, where he's just, like, walking down the alleyway and his arms get, like, overly long, or when he's, like, pressing himself up against the wall as, like, what's-her-name starts to fall asleep. I really like both of those, but I think for me the most, like, just where Freddy Krueger got that bizarre, like, creepy and iconic image is, I forget the movie, but, there's the one kid that's that was a drug addict but had kicked the habit, and Freddy like confronts her in an alley, and he's got syringes instead of claws on his fingers, and he just like injects straight into her veins. Oh, that is so unnerving to me. It's like, it's not even like he's just got syringes in his fingers. It's like this burnt flesh of his skin creeps up over the syringes so you can't quite tell where they start. Ugh.
Yeah, and her arms have little holes with like mouths on them for the needles.
Yes. Oh man, that was sickening and creepy, and I don't know, like Jason,
They were
Michael
playing on that hard with Arkham Knight and Arkham City's Scarecrow.
Yeah. It's interesting. That design for Scarecrow is kind of taken off. But it's like, I don't know, Freddy just sticks out to me in such a way because Michael, Jason, they don't have that kind of versatility. Like, you know, they just kind of walk and are imposing.
Those characters are far, 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 far more self-indulgent about the whole, like, they're a mythology thing, as opposed to Freddy, who's got a legitimate personality. Like, it doesn't matter who you cast as Michael Myers or Leatherface or Freddy, or not Freddy, or Jason, but Freddy is Robert Englund, he's Jackie Earle Haley. Apparently England wants Kevin Bacon to play Freddy now. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. But, like, I'd watch that movie. That's not saying that's a bad idea. I'd watch the hell out of it. But, like, Freddy's got a personality, he's got a performance, he's got a presence in the movies that comes from the fact that there's an actor attached to it, as opposed to, like, walking around slowly to the point where you might as well be a stuntman, which is basically what they did for 90% of Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know, just like there's that like iconography that transcends even, you know, his closest rival in this fight is Pinhead. And
well, what about Chucky, or you know, well, Chucky kind of has that thing too,
but not to the same level of like bizarre, trippy, iconic imagery.
Chucky's personality also isn't as consistent film to film as Freddy's kind of evolves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like Bride of Chucky's really weird.
Mm-hmm. And like Freddy, he gets like the complaint is he gets too jokey movie to movie. I'm like, yeah, I see it, but I think that's kind of the point. Is he realizes that he can't ever be.
Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, like he realizes that he can't ever truly be defeated, and so he just kind of enjoys the fuck out of himself whenever he comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys take us somewhere.
So, does anyone remember in I think it's Halloween, not Halloween, it's Nightmare 2, where Freddy's, like, possessed or, like, being reincarnated through that guy's body?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Freddy's Revenge. That's number 2.
Yeah, I think that movie in particular tries a little bit too hard to make Freddy scary outside of the nightmares themselves, and every time they do that, it kind of bugs me. Like, I don't think Freddy as a person as like an actual character has any power over anyone when he's not inside of a dream. And so like it almost a Freddy versus Jason thing of like you pull Freddy out of the nightmare and you beat the shit out of him. You don't
Definitely.
like, does that make sense?
No, definitely. Like, and that's the thing that bugs the crap out of me in some of these movies where, like, I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's 2, right? Where he's trying to get out of the dream world. I'm like, why? You know you're not powerful out here. Why do you care? And that's so bizarre to me. Like, it should... The only reason that I think Freddy should want to be able to leave the dream world is if he knows he can't continue to exist unless he has someone there to be afraid of him. And if, like, and you know, it's one of those things I kind of like about Freddy vs. Jason, where it's like, well, the way to get rid of Freddy Krueger is to make sure no one could remember him. And so, like, I like the idea that he would pull himself out of the dream world in order to make people remember him so he can continue to exist in the dream world.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
Oh, I'm sorry.
But otherwise, I don't care for it. What were you about to say?
I was about to say that'd be a cool idea for a sequel. Like, you have Freddy out in the dream world because he's like, of course, like he's dying because no one's remember him. At the end of the film, he wins anyway because when you kill him, he's back in the dream world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Freddy is one of those characters where, like, I don't think, particularly because of New Nightmare, the consistency of his origin and his powers and stuff doesn't matter as much. If you watch all the way through, like, Friday the 13th or Halloween and they just keep changing shit and it doesn't make any sense, particularly by, like, Halloween 5, it's just ridiculous. Michael Myers initially supposed to be, like, a force of nature, and the more they try to tack that on into different supernatural aspects, the less it works. Whereas with Freddy, you could kind of do basically anything, because it all comes down to, is there a sequence in someone's dream where he's trying to kill you? And if that's there, it's all fine, because it's all a conceit for that.
Yeah, I really like that about him. He is consistently bizarre and creepy, and, like, you know, Freddy Krueger has this whole... It's like an R-rated version of Pan's Labyrinth. Or no, wait, just Labyrinth. You know, where it's like, got that extreme budget.
Bowie bulge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got that, like, extreme imagery and versatility to it. And you know me, guys, I'm a big fan of CGI effects and stuff. I was really disappointed that the 2009 movie kind of sort of sucked balls, because I would have killed for a dream world that we expressed in CG. That would have been awesome.
Wasn't it 2010? Wasn't it 2010 that the
whatever
was made?
Does it really matter because it was awful?
Well, I was just like, I'm just a stickler for dates on films.
Fuck if I know.
I think it was like 2010 or 2011. Was it like a year after or a year before Friday the 13th remake?
It was a year. It was a year after.
I don't fucking care. I honestly don't care. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Why do we talk about anything?
Because we're the Geeky Gentlemen. We must discuss things. No, but like the 2000 whatever fucking year movie was like such a letdown on so many levels. Like Freddy was... I'm not even going to say Freddy was bad in it, but he definitely wasn't anywhere near as good as Robert Englund. Like, he's probably arguably the best thing about it, but that's not saying much.
Well, and I don't blame Jackie Earle Haley for the remake's performance, because he was given nothing to work with, and the tone's really inconsistent. Because, like, if you were going to get anyone to replace replace Robert Englund at that point in history, it was going to be Jackie Earle Haley. He just doesn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And it's too bad, because he does... I do agree, he does do his best, and he's got, like, this really freaking creeper thing going for him.
He does. He plays up the pedophile thing a lot more than Englund did.
Well, like, with Englund, he'd kind of already established the character before they gave that reveal.
Yeah.
You know, like, where did the pedophile reveal come from in the initial movie run?
I think they
they said he was a child murderer in the first one.
I think they didn't really touch on it until 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, he obviously kind of already had the character established, and then the writing just got sillier for him, whereas they were trying to go for a much more creepier, you know, pervy kind of guy with the 2010 movie. And, you know, it's just like, it makes it hard to get into it at all, because he's trying so hard to be creepy that, like, part of what makes Freddy Krueger an interesting character is that he's kind of got that, like, oh god, I'm laughing at this, but that's really fucked up thing going for him.
Yeah.
I think it's you that always said that thing about how horror movies tend to fail if you get to the point where you're rooting for the characters to die. And I think that's true except for the Nightmare movies, because Freddy's so interesting.
Yes, definitely. Like,
that is the exception right there, because Nancy's a really thought out character. Well,
yeah, I love Nancy. That first Nightmare movie's good.
Yeah. But aside from Nancy, yeah, they're all just cannon fodder for Freddy. And you don't really care because, like I said earlier, Freddy's like a bloody, evil Bugs Bunny.
I agree. Freddy Krueger is just this, you know, monstrous, like, deformed person, and he doesn't care about that at all. Like, you know, there's the fan theory that Freddy vs. Jason kind of confirmed that Freddy needs people to fear him to be able to get strong enough to kill him. And so I began to wonder if the whole burned skin thing even really has a lot to do with how he actually died, because he should conceivably be able to turn his body into whatever he wants it to look like. And so the burned skin seems like maybe it's just part of the way that he's trying to instill fear and shock and disturb these kids.
It's all part of his scare tactics, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could buy that.
Except less metaphysical.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about the hand glove real quick? That is the most unique and most badass killing tool in all of slashers.
It's probably the most iconic, that's for sure.
Yeah. I will say this for the remake. It does have that one really, really good moment. I don't know why Freddy Krueger knows this, but it's a really solid moment where the one kid has already died in the real world, but Freddy goes, "Your brain stays conscious for 4 minutes after you die. So I still got you for 4 minutes of fun." And I'm like, God damn, that's so fucked up.
It's pretty badass. I love it.
Yeah, it's just like, why does Freddy know brain biology and stuff like this? Why? That's strange.
It is also cool that over time that glove gets more and more sleek looking.
Mm-hmm. I really like the moment in the first movie where, like, the glove just starts ripping the girl apart, and, like, you have the claws come up in the real world as she dies. Oh
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
I mean that's one of those things where, like, Michael Myers stabs you with a knife. You kind of being stabbed is not that hard to conceive of. Jason's got his machete. That's not too hard to conceive of. Freddy's glove would just be painful in the weirdest ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only thing that's got him beat is Hellraiser, but that's just because it's a weird bondage horror fetish thing.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like Freddy just inflicts more suffering. Like, the Xenobites seem to be just about physical pain, whereas Freddy's, like, physical and emotional suffering.
I'm not qualified to debate that, because I saw 2 movies and I still don't give a shit.
Yeah, I tend to... we were there. That was, 2 years ago on Horror Month on Geeky?
Probably. We had like a 5-minute review of the second movie. I just didn't know what to say. There was a lot of screaming.
In the review or in the movie, Steve?
In the movie. There was just a lot of screaming, and I don't know what was happening.
I should have said both.
Yeah, I would have said both. So you guys want to talk about, like, favorite kills?
I mean, it's obviously Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I love the Johnny Depp kill.
Yeah.
I mean, the fucking room full of blood right out of the bed is like, again, just on a physical, like, filmed imagery thing. You can't quite describe that and get the same shock value in a book. It wouldn't look as good in a comic. It's just the fact that you see the blood shooting out of the bed in a fucking fountain, covering the ceiling, dripping all over the walls. It's like the elevator from The Shining. It's just so goddamn creepy.
I will also put in connection with that, and from the first movie, and then the way they did it again in New Nightmare, the girl being killed in her sleep and like wobbling around on the roof and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up and creepy.
Yeah, like, what do you do if you're the person that walks into that room?
I would say one of my favorite kills is the babysitter from New Nightmare, where she's just getting slashed to pieces.
Oh,
and the
God, that's frightful.
And Freddy's making the kid watch her die.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would like another one would be the TV through the chest and the marionette death. You got the kid who sleptwalked.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And my favorite one from Dream Master would be the because it's so gross I can't watch it, but it's so good. The death where the girl is trying to weightlift and her arms break off and she's slowly morphing into a cockroach till Freddy crushes the can she's trapped in.
Yeah, there's it's a lot of really bizarre specific things, and that's what I really like about it. It's just interesting, the whole dream dynamic. I can never get enough of, because like, where are you the most vulnerable? The place where you have literally no control whatsoever.
It's just a cool idea.
And the sad part is you can't go without it. You mean he's eventually going to get you. That's the thing.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 7, 6, grab your crucifix. 9, 10, or no. Wait,
I forget the
6,
rest.
7. I said 7, 6. Sorry.
You just forgot.
The song's fucking.
Yeah, 5, 6. It's 5, 6. Grab your crucifix. 7, 8. Better stay up late. 9, 10. Never sleep again.
So hard when YouTube copyrights that for sounding even vaguely similar to the thing from the movie.
Oh, of course. I'm trying to remember I think it's a Neil Gaiman quote. I want to say it's a Neil Gaiman quote, but I think we're gonna end on here. Nightmare. Because it's just like. No, of course I'm never going to be able to find it. Wait, hold on. Nope, never going to be able to find it. Oh, well. There's like this one really great quote that was about like how awful a nightmare is, because you wake up in a cold sweat and you realize that you just had one of the most terrifying experiences you could imagine. And the fact is, you imagined it, so it's like your brain betrayed you. And I think Freddy Krueger's like a pretty good example of that.
That's still a fucking up way to look at it. Your brain betrayed you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Dimitri Martin joke about like we're overly aggressive with soap scum because the soap fucking betrayed you. You used it to clean and now you have to clean it. That shit is scum.
Yeah.
Freddy's great. I don't know if I have a favorite movie aside from New Nightmare, but like Freddy vs. Jason's ridiculously fun.
Yeah, it's stupid fun.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we followed up and did more stuff like that, but oh well.
Well, we've got the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic, but
yeah, but I want a movie.
Yeah. Okay. Deadpoolzilla, who are we talking about next time?
We are talking about the dual personalities of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Exile.
I am the Don Juan of Comic-Con.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.